Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
As much as parents want to get some free time from their kids, time away to kind of recuperate, honestly have a break from the kids sometimes, going to school on board of school buses can give any parent some anxiety, especially as we hear a lot of stories about kids being forgotten at the back of the bus. A lot of kids have actually lost their lives for that. And Sharjah, right here in the heart of Sharjah, we've got a lot of schools that are actually working to try and prevent that, put an end to it, especially by using technology, because the Sharjah Private Education Authority has officially launched a new application that will allow every parent to track their kids' school buses from the minute they leave the school up until they arrive back home.
Yes, now parents will now be able to track their children's school buses on a new app which was launched by the Sharjah Private Education Authority. Now, the app is titled Your Children Are Safe and is available to parents of students from 122 private schools in Sharjah. But it doesn't just benefit parents and guardians. Now, I think this is long overdue. If we can track talabat drivers and riders, and we can know when our food is going to be reaching us, we should know when our children are going to be reaching home safe and sound. Now, Ali Al-Hosseini, who's the director of Sharjah Private Education Authority, said school bus supervisors can also use the app to record students' attendance. So what that means, Omnia did in the beginning say that some children, unfortunately, have lost their lives because, attendance count or some children were left on the back of school buses. But now, every time a student boards or deboards off a bus, the bus driver or the assistant in the bus will say, hey, Hani left, Hani went on, Hani left, Hani went on.
Exactly. So they're no longer just numbers in that bus, but rather actual people that they have their names listed, and every bus assistant can actually go ahead and tick off that this person has entered the bus or left the bus. Now, all operations through this application are actually being monitored at the headquarters of Sharjah Private Education Authority. So this actually enables any part of the staff to track the movement of the school buses in Sharjah as they transport students to and from the school. Moreover, what's interesting about this app is actually it's capable of recording the number of trips, and it can send alerts in case of emergency. So if an emergency were to happen, you don't even have to wait for the bus assistant to go ahead and send out like a text message to all the parents, because you can just do it with one tap on that app.
Yes, and there's also going to be internal and external surveillance cameras, and every bus will be equipped with 7 of them to ensure students' safety and security. Now, the cameras are also means to ensure students that they are on their best behavior. Now, we were all school students at one point in time of our lives, and we know that kids on the bus can get a little bit rowdy.
I was gonna ask you, were you a troublemaker when you used to go?
It depends who I was with, right? The cool kids were always in the back of the bus. I was always in the back of the bus. And shout out to my friend Ahmed. Me and Ahmed used to make a lot of trouble. I remember one time.
Why am I not surprised?
You know the 1.5 liter of Mountain Dew, Omnia?
Yes.
Yes, I was there to drink it all when I was in 9th grade or 8th grade.
Why?
And I did drink it all. But then I had a very upset stomach later. And
I
if
want
you
to
can
ask
see
about
here,
the
Omnia,
aftermath.
I don't know if it shows. I have a scar here.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I have a scar here.
You got stitches?
Yeah, no stitches, but it was pretty deep. But I jumped out of a bus window when I was in 8th grade.
You weren't a troublemaker at all.
Yeah, I was on my best behavior. I mean, if you give me the right crowd, I'll do the right things. Right? And if you give me the wrong crowd, I'll do the wrong things. But that's just my experience in the bus. So these cameras will ensure the safety of the students and make sure they are on their best behavior, because if they know a higher authority is watching, they're going to think twice before jumping out of bus windows.
Exactly. And a lot of kids are actually sometimes bullied in school buses. So this is actually going to help keep track of every student's behavior. So if any parent or any kid wants to complain about another student, they have actual footage that would prove them right or wrong. Let us know what are your thoughts, and would you like to be able to track your kids on their way to school or on their way back home whenever they're on board of any school bus right here in the heart of Sharjah? Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about some security settings, because if you are a regular user of Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, you may just want to find out exactly how you can change the settings to make sure that you are safe from every hack.
How do you tech? How do you tech?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are announcing something very, 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 very important.
Yes, quick question. Do you use Mozilla Firefox? Do you use Google Chrome
You
or
know,
Safari?
Omnia, when we talk about Firefox, the number one thing that goes through my brain is mozzarella sticks.
I was just going to say, same thing.
I used to call it mozzarella Firefox. Mozilla.
I'm not going to say that I did
Mozilla.
the same, but it's true.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Google Chrome. I have been a big fan of Google Chrome ever since it was launched. And Firefox, I was a friend of Firefox before Google Chrome was ever released.
Safari is not even in the picture, I see.
Safari when it's on my MacBook,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
But other
same.
than that, Google Chrome on any other PC and on my phone as well. And
You open Google Chrome on your phone?
yeah, I have Google Chrome on my phone. It's right here right now.
Oh, okay. So you do not use Safari.
I do not use Safari on my phone, only on my Mac. But Omnia, also Opera. You've never used Opera?
No, not at all.
Opera, my dad actually put me on Opera for a
Okay.
while now. That was back in the 2011s.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been through a lot of browsers in my life, but Google Chrome is bae.
It's big.
It is bae.
Well, if you've got 5 minutes on your hand, stay tuned, because we're going to tell you exactly what you can do, just a few adjustments that you can do to your own web browsers to basically protect your privacy online and make your web browser become yours and not susceptible to any hacks. Now, we've always seen Apple and Google kind of become in a war when it comes to the web. Apple has made privacy a top priority in all of its products, or at least it says so, and that includes Safari. But a lot of, startups, some even web browsers, one of them being Mozilla, they're all mozzarella sticks. That's all I'm going to think of all day. They're all actually touching upon privacy and trying to improve that as a way to kind of differentiate their browsers from Google Chrome and the like. Now, it's pretty late to the game that they're doing that, because I feel like by now things should be already established, but there are a few things that you can do to kind of secure yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that Apple has made privacy a top priority in all its products, including Safari, and Brave has a privacy as a core goal. Firefox and Microsoft are also touting privacy as a way to differentiate their browsers from Google Chrome. And Omnia, if you do remember last year, Google Chrome was under fire, and everyone was saying go and try DuckDuckGo, use DuckDuckGo browser. I didn't like it
It's not as
that
private
much.
as people think it is, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it turned out that, hey, they take the same information that Google does, but they let you know. Now, we're going to be telling you how to change these privacy settings in your Google Chrome browser to be a little bit safer on the web. And we do know, by the way, that the world's most popular browser is Google Chrome, but it is the least private.
Yes, indeed. And a lot of people will be pretty shocked to hear that Google Chrome is not as private as we think it is. But if you can go ahead and check out the Chrome Web Store, click on extensions on the left of your web browser and type the name of the extension that you're looking for into that search bar. You'll probably find many extensions out there. If you click on any of them and you right-click Add to Chrome, then a dialog will actually, or a little box will pop up explaining which permissions the extension will have for your browser. So if you're okay with those extensions, you can go ahead and click Add Extension. If you change your mind, you can go ahead and remove that extension by opening Chrome and clicking on that three-dot menu to the right side. It's found on the right side of the browser. This will actually help you kind of find out exactly where you are when it comes to your privacy. So 4 extensions for you to look at as you get started: Cookie Auto Delete, uBlock Origin, and Privacy Badger, as well as HTTPS or HTTP is everywhere.
Now, that is great, and that goes for Google Chrome. Now, let's talk about changing your privacy settings on Safari, which is mostly used on your iPhone and on your Mac devices. Now, by default, Safari does turn on its proprietary intelligent tracking prevention tool to keep you a step ahead of privacy, concerns. Even though the tool is, not worked smoothly since its 2017 debut, Google researchers have spotted intelligent tracking prevention itself that could be used to actually track users. So it's kind of like, you get a gun for protection, but the gun is always used against you.
But with Safari, I feel like sometimes, or actually all the time, they'll tell you that, let's say a certain app is trying, or a certain website is trying to track your location, or they want to ask you if you want to accept cookies or not. Which
Google Chrome does the same to me. But they still track.
True.
Right? It's like, hey, I'm going to jump into your house. Do you accept?
Do you allow me?
Yeah, but I'm going to jump in anyways.
Is it even with a location with Google Chrome?
Yes, as well, especially during Google searches. Now, first, to change your privacy settings, check that blocking is on, open Safari, click Preferences, and then Privacy. The box beside Prevent Cross-Site Tracking should be checked. While you're there, you can also manually delete your cookies. Click Manage Website Data to see which sites have left their trackers and cookies hanging out in your browser. After that, you're going to click Remove Next to any of the individual trackers you've already or you're ready to get rid of, or just nuke the whole list by clicking Remove All at the bottom of your screen. Now, if you're still looking for another layer of privacy, you can also install helpful extensions from the App Store like AdBlock Plus or Ghostery Lite for Safari. Now, I'm a very avid user of AdBlock Plus. I have it on my devices, whether it's my PC, my MacBook, my iPad, whatever it was. I had AdBlock on it just because I don't want to get those pesky ads.
So they're actually very effective at removing any and all ads for you.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so let us know. Are you interested in changing your privacy settings? I feel like it will take you maximum 2 to 3 minutes, but at the same time, you're basically protecting your privacy for months and months to come. Coming up on Future Talk, we're going to be discussing a little bit of organization when it comes to your Instagram newsfeed. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
What's worth a click and download, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about the Instagram, or as a lot of Arab aunties like to call it, an Instagram, right? And today they're testing out a new favorites feature to bring order to your chaotic feed. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big critic when it comes to Instagram's feed, as it is not in chronological order, but more in algorithm order. So whatever is trending, it will kind of bring it up to the top. And I kind of get annoyed when I see a post from 2 days ago of very important news, and I'm like, what?
I just saw it.
I'm just saying it now, but if you're on Instagram looking for your best friend's daily dog update.
Or Hanny's cat updates.
Yes, my cat. I call him
Smokey.
Nemo.
Wait, what? You changed the name?
I'll tell you about it later.
What type of kid is this? Every single day it gets a new name.
That's a problem when you have 4 people in the house who love him and keep giving him new names. But if you want to see my cat and you have to keep scrolling endlessly through a sea of posts you care little about, and probably even forget what you're looking for in the first place, and after a few extra annoyed scrolls, you close the app in frustration. And it does seem that Instagram is actually well aware of your problems, because it is quietly testing out a solution for your messy feed, and they call it favorites.
Yes, indeed. Now, favorites will actually let you categorize your most important Instagram accounts. So the accounts of your friends, the accounts of, let's say, some creators that you really, really love and enjoy their content. You can go ahead and set those as your new priority. So when you set them as a priority, their posts will land much higher in your newsfeed. Now, I personally love this feature. I feel like it's going to make things a lot easier, because there are so many times, I don't know if this happens to you, Hani, but I find myself following accounts that I never intentionally wanted to follow. And I have to go and physically unfollow. Like, not sure what happens here.
I did an unfollow spree about a couple of months ago. I removed a lot of following that I just
bring you down.
Sometimes I see a nice post, and I think that account would always post nice things.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be a bunch of baloney. And it turns out to be,
It was only that one good post.
Hey, if you want to watch the rest of this video, go and watch Colorful. Go to Colorful's Instagram, and then you go to that Instagram page, and it's private, and you're like, I'm not going to wait for this guy to accept me. I'll probably forget it by the time he does.
Now, what's interesting is that Instagram was actually testing out this favorites feature back in 2017. So with the feature that they were testing, they would actually let you limit the exact audience for each post. So let's say you shared a wedding photo. You just want your designated favorites to be able to view this photo. You can go ahead and basically pick and choose from your entire following who you want to basically be able to see that photo. Now, the 2021 version of the favorites feature is a whole lot different because it's about giving you a lot more control on your feed and what you want to see versus what you don't want to see. So this will basically allow you to tell Instagram what accounts are most important to you. And after all, you may just, be following a lot of creators, but you don't necessarily love everyone's content. Some people feel too lazy to go ahead and unfollow content that they don't necessarily like to do, or necessarily like anymore, even though I feel like it's very necessary. It's content that you consume on a daily, day-to-day basis. So that should be one of your priorities to clean every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, again, people like certain things and they want their feed to consist of certain things.
Yep.
And some people use Instagram to connect with their friends and family, not just look at funny memes or, news blogs or posts. Let us know your guys' thoughts, 4215 or on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio. Do you have that problem with the chronological order on Instagram and you're always looking at old posts and never up to date with the news? Because if you are, Instagram now has that solution.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
We are talking about one of the many wearables that Hani Balqis has actually tested out for quite some time, and that is the Whoop. Now, for those of you who don't know, people can actually get the Whoop for free. Is that right? But you pay for the service.
Yes, so the Whoop is subscription based and you can get it for free.
Yes.
But then I do believe you pay around 100 dirhams per month.
For you to be able to
use the app.
Oh, okay.
Which is the most important part.
Yeah, of course.
So without the app, it's just a band.
It's just a band. And that's not the case with the Apple Watch, I feel like. Because with the Apple Watch, you're just paying for the band itself and it comes with everything. But with the Whoop, it's like you get it for free, but then you're paying for the subscription. What's interesting is that a lot of people have had mixed thoughts about the Whoop. And we've actually asked everyone on our Instagram at Pulse95 Radio whether they would like or would have an Apple Watch or whether they would prefer having a Whoop. And a lot of people, there were mixed thoughts. Let's just say that. Some people preferred the Whoop. Others really liked the Apple Watch. Whoop, the company itself, is actually revealing yet another new model. This one, though, has a lot of interesting features. One of them being the fact that you can actually check your body temperature through the I keep saying Apple Watch, through the the wearable wristband.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty small wristband and, they promised increased accuracy and even a decreased size. Now, I've used the Whoop for quite some time now and, I'm on the fence with it. I'll tell you why. Now, the Whoop does offer a lot of things that I personally did like, which was the strain of each workout. So it will measure your heart rate and your heartbeat, and based off those, those numbers,
Metrics.
It will say whether or not you've been straining your heart too much or too little. And then because of how much you've strained yourself during your workout, it will tell you need an optimal sleep of 9 hours to recover from said workout and for you to be good throughout the day.
I love that.
It's amazing, right? But the thing is, right, number one, it does not count your steps, which is very, very important for a lot of people. Number two, there's no screen on it. Okay, which a lot of people would prefer, because if you're that type of person that likes to wear luxury watches, you can't wear a luxury watch if you have an Apple Watch on, because you're gonna look dumb wearing two watches. Number three, okay, I don't like how it's subscription based and you pay a hefty. It's 100 dirhams is not little money to use a device. So you're paying 100 dirhams. Number four, I personally believe that the Whoop is for advanced athletes, right? Whoop has kind of catered to the cyclists, to the swimmers, to the people who really need to focus on their recovery and to focus on how bad or how much they're straining their heart. For the average Joe like you and I, Omnia, we don't really care about these things. We're not professional athletes. But for professional athletes, it is great. Number 5, what I like about the Whoop is that it is not only, like subjected to having it on your wrist. You can buy a band and put it on your arm. You can buy a band and put it on your chest. These are all, things
Different options.
different options. You buy different bands.
What about accuracy?
Accuracy. Now, I compared the two, and I actually had a segment on my Snapchat story about a couple of months ago. And the differences were a little bit slight. With the Apple Watch, I felt like it was a little bit more exaggerated than the Whoop. But at the same time, I didn't have the Whoop on tight, right? I kept it a little bit loose. But
that's something I've heard from a couple of people who tested out the Whoop and the Apple Watch, that the Apple Watch is sometimes exaggerated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you why, the Apple Watch is exaggerated because there's kind of like a
one size fits all
gamification type of thing on the Apple Watch,
okay.
which will motivate you. So instead of doing $999, you did $1,500. You're like, oh yeah, I did. I can do more, and it gives you that kind of that dopamine that, hey, I'm doing something beneficial. I'm accomplishing something. But in general, I feel like the Whoop has a lot of potential, and I personally, I'd get it, or I would use it again if they track my steps.
That's going to be an interesting feature to add. Now, with the Whoop 4.0, the creator of Whoop has actually decided to address different problems that people were complaining from. So, one thing is the fact that the band is now 33% smaller. So they don't want it.
It's pretty smaller, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say it looks pretty thin to me, but they wanted it even smaller. A lot of people were complaining that they would like to have it be a bit thinner. They also added a new sensor and different algorithms, which will not only allow it to measure your heart rate a lot more accurately, but it's also going to allow you to calculate your blood oxygen and your skin temperature. And we all know in the age of COVID-19, a wristband that can calculate your skin temperature, it gets an A+ from everyone. They've also added different features like vibrations. Those can actually help you with sleep tracking features. So let's say you want to wake up at 7 a.m. The band itself will start nudging you slowly and quietly.
That's new.
Yeah, it'll start nudging you slowly and quietly, starting from 6:30 up until you're up and awake at 7 a.m. When it comes to charging, they are hoping that the new charger, which allows you to basically just put or slap the Whoop on top of it, will make it able to gain more power in much less time, which I feel like when we compare, let's say, charging time with an Apple Watch, it's actually pretty nice. 30 minutes, you get a full charge.
Yeah. Now, regardless, I was just thinking about this while you were talking, Omnia.
Yeah.
I think whatever Whoop does bring to the table, I will stick with my Apple Watch.
Because it's everything.
It's everything,
notifications.
Fashionable as well.
Very fashionable.
And a lot of people, Omnia, when getting the Whoop, they were influenced by a lot of big figures on social media. One of them being His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid. Now, he was one of the main people who started using the Whoop in the UAE, and a lot of people got influenced because he's an influential figure.
True.
And again, Sheikh Hamdan is very active on social media and with sports, and they see the Whoop, and obviously if you see someone so sporty and successful, like maybe that will help me with my
goals,
my athletic goals as well. I've tried it. I don't like it because it doesn't cater to such advanced things. I'm not an advanced athlete. I don't care so much about the percentages, the metrics, and all this extra data that is provided. And I like my Apple Watch, right? And if I would want to get a different band, I'd just upgrade. I'm on the Apple Series 4 now. Probably get the 7 if they count my blood oxygen.
That's going to be an interesting feature to see if it's going to be coming up pretty soon. Let us know, what are your thoughts? Would you go for a Whoop or would you go for an Apple Watch? Coming up on Future Talk, we're going to be discussing a robot that is coming to every factory right here in the UAE.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
Wait, yeah. This always happens, Omnia, when we talk about crazy things.
Yep. Would you like an animal?
What?
An animal.
An animal?
Yeah.
Was that a joke, Omnia?
No, I'm being for real, like an animal to host a show with you.
An animal?
Animal. That's how it's
Any
spelled.
type of mal?
What's that?
That's what I understood.
I don't know. We're talking about a robot called
Explain.
Animal. I don't know. This robot he was created by Schneider Electric, and he's basically coming to every factory in the UAE to make their job easier. It looks a lot like Spot the Robot. From Boston Dynamics. We've talked about him. He's a regular on the show. But this one is called Animal. He walks like a dog.
He walks like an animal.
Basically, which is the reason why he's called that way. And he was actually manufactured by a Swiss robotics company known as Anybotics. It's a trend in their company.
Wow. I mean, the creative PR team, believe it or not. Now, again, we're looking at this becoming, a robot that will help in warehouses, and they can go up anywhere, and they autonomously, by the way, navigate complex multi-story environments. And once guided through that environment, the robot does remember every single detail and does find the quickest route to perform its mission.
And it can even go into any hazardous room. Let's say you've got a room with lots of chemicals where human beings should not be going into it. You can just send Animal into it and he'll go.
You love that, right? You keep saying Animal and you're like laughing and giggling, right?
I think it's a really creative name.
I mean, now the most obvious application for robots like Animal is the inspection of facilities that would normally involve a human. Like you said, Onya, they can go into dangerous environments as well.
So like oil and gas industries, perfect.
Yeah.
Hire Animal.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's hazardous areas.
Yep.
Now, if a robot can traverse the same path, climb stairs, open doors, and so on, it can do so more frequently and regularly than its human counterparts. And again, this is where we always say robots and AI are here to help us and help give us a better quality of life.
Yes, indeed. Animal can actually also avoid obstacles. He's also equipped with high definition and thermal cameras, so we can actually send a live stream to the command center that it's connected to, and this way he can be your pair of eyes when you're not there in that room. His thermal camera also provides different temperature readings, which is very important when it comes to employing such a robot in the oil or even chemical industries, since temperature is everything. Now, after finishing its mission, this robot is also able to recharge itself. It will go connect itself to the docking station for it to go ahead and recharge, for it to be ready for its next mission whenever you need it.
Yes, again, we're looking at how these type of robots are becoming more and more frequent, and a lot of other companies are implying it. And, Boston Robotics has also made, the Spot the Dog, a different
This is like the UAE version of Spot the Dog.
The UAE version, yeah. I mean, again, we're looking at how a lot of companies, it's always Omnia, one company that does it, and then all these other companies perfect it.
Yep.
Boston Dynamics, is it called Dynamics or Robotics?
Boston Dynamics.
Dynamics, yeah. I keep getting mixed up between the names. But Boston Dynamics, they were kind of the forefront of every other type of, robotic dog and robots in general to give us a better quality of life. And they've been doing crazy stuff. But again, we're looking at how at one point in time, these will be implemented in a lot of warehouses. And right now, at this moment, these will be implemented right here in the UAE.
Yes, indeed. Let us know what are your thoughts about Animal, the new robot that is coming to the factories of the UAE. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Future Talk just as much as we did, bringing you the latest tech news happening right here in the UAE and all around the world. We'll see you once again tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, make sure you keep Pulse 95 logged, because coming up is the halftime show, the only place to be at 3 with Omer Douri. He's going to be bringing you a wide range of stories happening in the world of sports, as well as physical and mental well-being.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.